Hi friends, welcome back to my channel Testing Mini Bytes. I'm your friend Amna Saktivela, and in this video we're gonna see about Eclipse shortcuts. Right, I'm gonna cover only top 25 shortcuts that I normally use, so that you can speed up your way of coding. Right, so this is gonna be really helpful. So watch the video till the end, and I'm sure it will increase your coding speed. Good. So first, let me get to my Eclipse workspace. I have a package called com.java shortcuts. If you want to create a new class file, instead of right clicking, going here and doing all the stuff, you can also do Alt Shift and N, and then it will give you a pop-up and select the class inside this. And now I want to choose Eclipse shortcuts. Again, guys, whatever the shortcuts that I'm going to cover, it's for Windows. For Mac, instead of the Windows command, you have to use your Mac commands, right? So it's almost going to be same. So you can watch the tutorial as well, right? So I'm clicking on enter. Right, so now I have to create my main method. So what we normally do, we will type our whole stuff, right? So public static void, we'll type the whole thing. Instead of that, you can also use main and then press control space and enter. Right, so this is gonna save a lot of time. Right, now even I want to use a sysout statement. So sysout, press enter. Right, so and then I want to say hello world. And if I want to run, I can press alt shift and X, and then you get an option in the right corner. Right, so if you notice, if you want to run it as a JUnit test, you can use T, and if you want to run it as a Java application, you have to press J. Right, I want to run it as a Java application, so I'm pressing J. So it's working. I press escape to close the console. So where these things are coming from, when I typed main, when I typed sysout, okay, this is providing me all the options. Right, even if I want to use a for loop, yeah, so you're giving me a lot of options. Right, so I want to use for loop, so it's giving me all these options. Where this is coming from, so these are all called as the templates, guys, Eclipse templates. So go to Windows preferences, and if you notice, just search with the templates here. Okay, templates, and inside Java you have something called as editor. Inside that you have something called as templates. Inside that you can find all the default templates that Eclipse has. Right, so whatever that we have done so far is your for loop. Okay, if you type for, if you use an it's telling where you are going to use this. For Java statements, you're going to have the description of use index on array. Right, so it's going to give you a sample of this. Right, for int, these things are basically your whatever you see there. Right, so let's go step by step. So what I'll do, it is arranged in alphabetical order. Let me go to the main. So if you notice, if we type main, you press control and space, you get all these things. Right, the dollar cursor indicates the cursor will be here. Okay, once you type main and then press on enter, the cursor by default will be in this position. Okay, you can change this or customize this like the way you want. The same way we have also used sysout. Right, so if you notice, this is a sysout. So there are two sysouts, right? So this is sysout, and then sysout Java postfix. What we are interested is sysout and Java statements, right? It will print to standard output. This is a description, correct? Instead of sysout, I want to change this to sout. Okay, either you can edit this whole stuff and then change it to sout, or you can copy the syntax. Okay, copy the syntax and click on new. It will give you a template dialog where you can enter this whole stuff. Okay, what is the name? I want to use sout. If I use sout, I want to get the system.out.println. Where you want to use this? I want to use this in Java statements. Right, this is it. So maybe I will use the same one, print to standard output. Okay, and the pattern, I have already copied the pattern from there, so I'll use the same pattern. Okay, and then click on OK. Once you've done this, click on apply and close. Now instead of sysout, you can just type sout and then press control space. See, it is giving me the print to standard output, which is the description that I gave there. Right, and then you can use this to the code. Right, so you can also type this code. Again, I want to remove this whole stuff. I don't need this. Press control and D, it will remove that line for you. Okay, control and D. Right, if you want to press, okay, you can play around with this. Right, you can create your own templates and then use it in your code. It's not just that, you can also use try. Okay, try catch block. If you want to use a try catch, right, if you want to change something, you can also change what is the exception that you want to do. Right, so here also I want to use arithmetic exception. Right, you can do all these changes. If you want to delete a line, control and D. If you want to add a new line, I'll shift and enter. Sorry, or you can just press enter. Right, and yeah, basically you can play around like this. Right, so let me remove all these things now, and then we'll head to the first shortcut for the day. right? So I have also made a document. I will attach the document, in the description, so that you can also have a look at it when you get time. So we have already seen about control space. You have already known about it. So let me not touch it, and then let me go to the control plus one. This is very important shortcut. So I have, mentioned the shortcuts based on their priority, right? So control one is very useful. Let's say I want to, write some coding, new Chrome driver, right? So this web driver is an interface, and my Chrome driver is a class that I want to use from Selenium jar file, right? So I want to use this. So if I press Control and one, see, it is telling me the option to import. So this Control one is basically for a lot of things, guys. Okay, so I can import it. Press Control and one again, it will import. It will give you an option to import it. Or if you want to create your own class, you can also do that. So in my case, I want to import it. It's not only that, you can also do more things, right? Let me take a class where I have used this coding like this, right? So I have a lot of if condition. I want to change this to a switch statement, right? This will be really hard if I do it manually. But what if I press a control one here? If you notice, there is an option to do change or convert if else to switch. You press this option. Now if you notice, you get your option back. And then press Control M if you want to maximize the screen. Control M again to minimize the screen, right? This is really cool. And let me do a Control Z, and then I also tell you, you also have options, right? If condition has only one line of statement. If you notice, this was just one line of statement. I want to remove all the curly braces, right? Because for single line of statement, it is not mandatory that you have to use a curly brace. So removing them in all the places is little tricky, right? So for that, what you can also do, you can select all these things, press Shift and N, use the arrow key as well, and then press Control one. If you notice, if block to statement, okay, and then if you notice in the right hand side, it will also give you the template how this one will look. Okay, I'll choose this, right? So now if block is removed with your statements, and I also press here if else block to statements. So you have removed all the curly braces with just two lines, right? With two simple steps. That's really cool. I want to go back, press Control Z, right? So yes, so this is how easy it is, right? And apart from that, instead of doing the imports using Control one, there is also another way you can do that. So let me remove it first, and now it will again throw you an error. Instead of that, you can also use Control Shift and O. Okay, Control Shift and O will also do the imports for you. Again, I have removed these statements now. Okay, now these imports are unused, right? You instead of going there and then removing them manually, again you can press Control Shift and O to remove them, right? So again, if I have something called as say, I want to read something from an output file. So I want to read something from a file. I use file input stream. This is the file name, and here I can also use Control one, right? Here it can also give you an option if you want to throw a declaration or surround with try catch. In my case, I want to throw a declaration, right? You can choose whatever the declaration you want. And again, if you press Control one, it will give you an option whether you want to assign to a new local variable. Yes, I want to do that. See, it's as simple as that. It will also give you an option what is the local variable name that you want to give, right? Now it is telling me what you want to import. Yes, I want to import from java.io, right? Good. Again, there is Control Shift and O. There is an unused, import. So I can press Control Shift and O, right? So to remove that. So instead of doing this, this looks a little complex, right? So I press Control D. I can also press Control Shift and O. What if there is a way that, I just save it, everything gets automatically imported? So let's say I type web driver equal to new Chrome driver, something like that. Now I want to import two new packages. Okay, maybe I'll remove that again. Okay, let me save this. So my demand is when I save this, it has to automatically import this. Okay, let's go to the Windows preferences. There is something called as save actions. Okay, you choose this, and if you notice, there is a dialog here. Click on this. It has three options. Okay, while saving, it will automatically format your code if you enable this option. Okay, that is good. I'll also organize my imports. Yes, select these two options and then click on apply and close. Now, okay, I do something. Okay, I do something here. I do a sysout and then do something. Okay, and then I save it. If you notice, on saving it, it's importing me all these things. Again, if there is an alignment as well, alignment change. Okay, if I press Control and S, it will do the alignment also for us, because I go there and then enable the save options, right? So you can use these two options. You can also use this if you want to do override annotations, deprecated annotations automatically, but I prefer only these two things, right? This is really, really cool, right? Again, if you don't have that auto formatting, right, so if it is like this, okay, you can also use Control A and then Control I. Okay, you can use that for indentation, or if again you have something like this, okay, if you want to align that, Control Shift and F will also do. Either you can press Control A and I, or Control Shift and F, anything will be done. Okay, now let's go further. Okay, Control Shift and O, let's remove the unused imports. Next thing what I want to do is, I have something called as say new string, and then I have a string called another. So what I want to do, control, yeah, I want to assign to a new variable, or I want to assign to a new field, right? What you have to press, you have to press Control and 2. Okay, let's press Control and 2. If you notice, there is an option in my right hand side. It's giving me whether you want to assign to a field. If you want to assign to a field, it will create a class level variable. Okay, let's do that. Press F. Okay, if you notice, it has given me private static string. Again, you can, it's highlighted here, so you can actually change it. So if you change it here, it will also change it here, right? So you can change here, it will also change there. You can also use tab to change the access modifier. Suppose I want this to be protected. Okay, okay, and then I want this to be different type, you can also change that. So once you are done with all your change, press enter. That's it. You don't have to go create all these things manually and then do it, right? Let's do a Control Z and then come to this particular state, and I'll do a Control 2, and this time I want to create a local variable, right, instead of the new one. Either you can use down arrow and press enter, but or simply you can press L. So L, again, I want to create a new temporary string, and then I can assign it. So it's as simple as that. So when I save it, it gets automatically aligned, right? So that's the beauty about this Eclipse shortcuts. Okay, now I not only I want to create this, I also want to do something else. I want to create a method out of it. Okay, let's do that. So let's take a particular class. Okay, in this, again, if I want to view what are all the methods in this, I can use Control O, which means outline. So I want to see the outline of this. So if you notice, the red color indicates I have a private. Okay, this is private, and C indicates this is a class. Sorry, the constructor. And then you have extend logger, that is a private constructor. You also have method that is returning you void, right? These methods return type is void. There is one method that is returning Boolean. Okay, and then this method is also private. So if there is a green, that means it is a public, right? So basically you can understand all these things from the outline. Okay, if you press one more Control O, it will also populate you with all the options from your super classes. So this extend logger is not extending. Again, I want to go to the top of this page, so press Control L and then press 1. So I want to go to the first line. So right, you can also press Control L, I want to go to the 20th line. Okay, so basically you can do all these things, right? I have a private constructor now, I have public static void methods, right? So this is not extending any classes, right? So let me take a class. Okay, let me take a class. So I want to open a resource now. So opening a resource is simple if you know the shortcut. Okay, Control Shift and R. Okay, so I want to open a resource. What resource I want to open? Basically I want to open something called as uh, uh, test. It is ending with test. I don't know how it's starting, so let me name it as test. So you have Amazon demo test. Okay, so let's open this. Okay, you have Amazon open test, Amazon demo test, that extend your base test. Okay, I also have some methods inside base test. So when I press Control O, it will only give me all these options. When I press Control O again, it will also give me the methods from my base test, right? The setup and tear down, these methods are coming from base test. So if you press Control O double times, it will also give you the outline of the classes, super classes, right? It will also give you the object class, because object class is the super class for all other class, right? That's how easy it is. So now the ultimate purpose why I came here is I want to go to this particular thing. So if you notice, there is a method. Let me press Control M to maximize. And if you notice, this is a Boolean, and I am comparing this with another Boolean, right? So I am doing there is one boolean, if this and this both are true, then I want to do this particular thing. Okay, but this is not readable for me. So as a part of refactoring, I want to extract this to a method. So if I do this manually, it is very hard. So I have to use private. I have to be very careful. So whether it will return void, okay, in my case it's boolean. Okay, it's very very hard, right? So instead of all these things, what you can do, you can select this whatever you want to select, and then press Control 2 and then press M. So this will extract this to a method. What is the method name that you want to give? So if you notice, what is the method name you want to give? I want to give does um, does user needs screenshot uh, for, for failed step, something like that. So it gets automatically changed here, right? Once you're comfortable, suppose I want to change this access modifier, press tab, so it'll go there, and then now you get an option to change your access modifier as well, right? So if you press a tab, you also have an option to change the return type. It's also populating you the return type, right? You can also again change the name if you want, but in my case I'm okay. Then press enter. That's it. So now, without making big mistakes, it automatically created the method for you. Now my code is more readable now, right? So this is what you want to do, right, with the help of Control 2 and M. Okay, I'll revert it to the older state, okay, because I need to cover these different things. Okay, now let's go back, and I have covered all these things. Okay, I have also covered open resource. Suppose I want to open a file. Okay, I want to open a file from the string class. Okay, I want to open it something from string class, then Control Shift and T. Okay, let's say I want to open string buffer. Okay, I want to compare something in that. Okay, then I can open that. Okay, so Control Shift and T will allow you to open a type interface or class or enum from your external libraries as well. Okay, and then what else we have? Okay, this alt up arrow and down arrow will be really really helpful. Suppose let's say I do a sys out, okay, and then say hello, something like this. Okay, now I want to move the statement on the top. Okay, then I have to do a cut and then paste it here. I need to save it. This is what we normally do, but you can press your alt and then press down arrow. Okay, up arrow, wherever you want to move, you can move it. So it's as cool as that. Okay, so yeah, now I can press this. Okay, alt up arrow and alt down arrow to move your things, right? And what else we have? We have Shift plus N. Suppose you want to select a particular line, Shift plus N, and then use down arrows if you want to select multiple lines, right? If I go to this particular class, maybe I can do Shift and N, and then if you want to select this particular statement, I can do that. Again, if you notice, this else block is having just one line of statement. So what I can do, press Control 1. You can select this, press Control 1, and if else two statements. Okay, so now the curly braces are removed because just one line, you don't need a curly braces. But even if you did, that doesn't matter. Okay, so you can use Control plus 1 as well. Control D I have already covered to remove a line, and then this also I have already covered. So instead of using these shortcuts, set up a save action so that this will be done automatically. Control L I have already covered, and Control Q is really really cool. So suppose I have done some editing here. Now let me go here and then do some changes. Okay, and then if I press Control Q, it will take me to the last edited location so that I can know what I last edited, right? So it's very easy for me to, if there are 100 tabs open, it will be very hard for me to switch here and there, right? So that's really really cool. And what else we have? Okay, suppose I have a lot of tabs open, I want to close this. Okay, you can press Control W. Okay, it will close the current tab. If you want to close all the tabs, you can also press Control Shift and W. But I'm not doing it that now because I might have to explain a lot of things, right, with these two things. Okay, good. So you can use Control plus Shift plus W if you want to close all the tabs. I have already covered Control M is for maximizing and minimizing the windows. Control M, Control M, right? And if you want to do a single line statements, a single line comment, you can use this. And for uncommenting, you can also use Control and slash. And for multi-line comments, you select all those things, Shift N, you select all these things, okay, and then press Control Shift and slash for commenting. For uncommenting, Control Shift and backslash, right? And then if I save this, okay, it will automatically get aligned because we have save actions, right? So it will automatically get aligned. What else we have? This is very very important. So Pojos, right? If you have worked on Pojos, you know how hard it is to create constructors, methods, and other stuff. So let me say I have private string name. Okay, I have something like this. I want to create a getters and setters. So what we normally do, we create it manually, or we'll go to the source and then we'll select them, right? So if you notice, the source is having a shortcut Alt Shift and S. Okay, it's Alt Shift and S. So now you get an option for all these things. So if you notice very closely, the V is underlined, which means if you want to do a override implement methods, then you can use V. But in my case, I want to generate getters and setters. So press R. So R is underlined, right? So R is underlined. So I'll select whatever I want and then click on generate, right? So as simple as that. Again, Alt Shift and S. Again, I want to create a constructor using fields. So the O is underlined. So press O, okay, and then click on that. So you get to create all these things with a single command, right? So Alt Shift and S is very powerful. If you want to produce a toString, press yes, right, and choose whatever you want and then click on enter. So basically you can create all the pojos like this. But since Alt Shift and S is very big, I will also teach you how we can create your own custom shortcuts, right? So instead of using the existing shortcut, you can also create your own shortcuts. We'll see about that. But before that, suppose I want to cover these two statements with the for loop, or I want to cover this with the try catch block. So then there is an option that is your Alt Shift and Z, right? So it will give you try catch, try multi catch, try with resources. Again, try with resources can be used if your class is implementing auto closable, say for example file input stream and stuff like that, right? But for now I'm using try with multi catch, and then you can give whatever the catch we want to do, right? Also you can press control, sorry, Alt Shift and Z, and then I want to use, suppose I want to cover it with do or for loop, right? Then press 2. So 2 indicates it will cover everything into instead of for loop, right? This sounds very handy. Okay, you can try out the remaining stuff there. But this Alt Shift and R is very important, guys. Okay, let's say I want to suddenly replace this wait strategy. Okay, this temporary variable I want to replace so that it's more meaningful. Again, it is already meaningful, but I want to rename it. Alt Shift and R for rename. Okay, now if you notice, I'll change something here. Okay, Tem or renaming, something like this. Okay, if you notice, all the places it's getting changed, 1 2 3 4 5 6, right? Once you're done, press enter. That's it. Okay, as simple as that. So again, I want to do a renaming. So wait strategy, or I can give wait strategy, right? And then press on enter. That's it, guys. It's as simple as that. Okay, now we have covered almost all the shortcuts that I want to cover. But for the pojos or something, if you want to create your own shortcut for something, then go to Windows Preferences and then search for keys. Okay, and inside the keys, okay, you have a lot of options. Now for now, let's say I want to go to the next tab. Okay, next tab. So next tab is normally control plus page down. Okay, but I want to change that. Okay, let me go here and then change it, control plus tab, because I don't prefer using two hands for shortcuts. Okay, I want to use my left hand alone for the shortcuts, so I'm changing this to control plus tab. Click on apply and close. Now my control is in explicit wait factory. If I press control and tab, it will move to external logger. If I press control and tab again, it will go to the next class. So pressing control and tab, you can switch between the tabs very easily, right? You can create and customize your existing codes. So for example, I want to generate getters and setters. So if you notice, this getters and setters doesn't have a direct binding. Okay, now I want to create a direct binding. So you enter something here. Okay, if I press control and G, because G is for getter, right? So let's try. If I press control and G, it's giving you an option. You can also use control and G. But if you have something that is already existing, let's say control plus yes, it will also show you an error that you are trying to use. That is very wrong. When I want to use it, when I'm editing my Java code, right? So you have to choose that properly. Editing Java source. So when I use control G, okay, I want to use this. or I have a confusion where I should use win. Okay, then you can remove this, and then you can remove all these filters, and then check for any shortcuts that you know already. So let's take Control Shift and P will work on editing Java source, right? This is where normal editing window where we write our code. So we need to choose editing Java source. Let's go to the getters and setters again. So generate getters and setters, and here editing Java source is there already. So let me use Alt and G. That's for me more comfortable. So I press on apply and close. Okay. So I'll remove this, and then I'll press Alt and G. So it's giving me the option, select whatever you want, press on enter, it will generate that for you. So by this way you can create whatever you want. So whatever the shortcuts you want, you can create them according to you, right? That's all. I have covered almost all the shortcuts. I will also leave the this particular file in the description. Again guys, you can, I have created this as control plus tab. Okay, and then I have also created this as alt plus G. You can also create alt plus C maybe, right? You can also create it on your own. So yeah, create something like alt plus C. That's what I normally use. You can also create on your own. So yeah, I hope this session was very helpful. I Please subscribe if you like the videos in my channel. I'll see you all in another great video. Until then, tata, bye from Amrit.